everyone, it's Lisa from the blog farmhouseonboone.com, and today I want to share with you some antiques that I just purchased for our new farmhouse. So a few of my blogging friends and I went on an antique shopping adventure day yesterday. I ended up taking my two oldest girls as well. We were supposed to go do this last week, but then we got completely snowed out, and so we ran with the opportunity yesterday, even though it was a Monday and a lot of antique shops aren't open, but we were able to find several in our area. We kind of drove from probably like a 50-mile radius and just made a day of it. So I wanted to share with you what I purchased and then kind of my thought process behind why I bought what I bought and my goals and plans for the rest of this house as I bring in more items, because it's a little bit different than in our last house. I was trying to think about this last night in bed, thinking about how I was gonna explain this, because it's something that I've been thinking about for a while, even when we were in our last house, but I don't really know exactly how to articulate what I mean. Let's just say that in our last house, I did a lot of kind of design board type planning. So I would go and I would piece together a couple of sconces from a certain website, and then maybe like matching, let's just say side tables or nightstands with a nice matching couch with pillows that coordinated just right. The feel that I want to create in this house is going to be completely different than that. At least that's what I'm going to try to do. So this is going to be me stretching myself a little bit, because obviously that is how I am used to decorating my house. But I've been kind of poking around on Pinterest and Instagram over the last year or so and noticing that I really love the look of a house that looks very collected and not so put together and perfect, if that somehow makes sense at all. Basically, I want it to look very layered and collected, and I don't really want to recreate the same exact look that I did in the last house. So perfect black sconces, very defined color scheme. I want to bring in a lot more colors, a lot of pieces that I would have been scared to use in the last house, and just play around with brass and wool rugs and a ton of different texture and color, and not everything so matchy-matchy perfect. This is something I've been trying to think about how I'm gonna make work, and I think the way to do it is just to collect over time pieces that I love and lend themselves well to this house. Another thing is that this house is a Victorian farmhouse, so it has a lot of little details in the trim, in the doors, and even the grates on the floor where like the heat comes through. It has transoms and little details on the front of the house. And so this house also, when I brought in my stuff from the last house, like my couch and my little simple farmhouse coffee table that we built for the last house and our craftsmen, just look weird here. I've been thinking about it in our living room. We need an extra large vintage rug. I might want to bring in like a leather couch, still keep my wing backs, but add a ton more color and texture, and maybe some art that I find at an antique shop and an old brass light fixture. Kind of see what I'm saying here. It's gonna take a long time because it's gonna be a lot of layers, a lot of digging, different places I need to go look. And so this is gonna be the kind of look where you can't just make a little design board, shop everything on Hobby Lobby or Pottery Barn. It's gonna be one of those things that comes together over time and makes a house look lived in and comfortable, and that's what I'm trying to achieve. So if you guys know what I'm talking about, leave me some comments below telling me some of your tips, if that's kind of the look that you created, or if you even understand what I'm saying here. So I'm hoping to bring in a lot more color of china. So I used to be only all white pictures because that would like match with my perfect farmhouse scheme, and now I'm wanting to bring in quite a bit more color. Yesterday I saw some pictures that, if they weren't too expensive, I definitely would have picked up, because we're gonna have some open shelving in our kitchen, and I wanna put those kind of things on display and just make it look, the only word I can keep thinking of saying is collected. And so it's gonna be a little bit different for the blog too, because most everything that I have in my house, there won't be sources for, because it's something that I'm going to most likely just dig around and find to make our home look unique. Okay, so let's dive into it. First up, now these are all things that I found over the last week. Not everything was found yesterday. Several items were, but some were something else I found throughout the week. So this is a embroidered needlepoint chair. I just loved the look of the back here. Now I wouldn't have brought this into my last house because everything was very straight lines. It was a craftsman bungalow. The trim was very straight, didn't have the fluted molding like I do here. But in this house, I'm feeling like it calls for these more ornate details. Now, I love simple style, but I'm telling you, when I brought in my stuff into this house, it just didn't look right. So I'm trying to honor the style of this house, which is more of a Victorian farmhouse. Now, this next thing I actually found on eBay. I didn't even find it. So a friend of mine on Instagram, Farmhouse Vernacular, she also has a YouTube channel, I'll link her below. She is helping me design the kitchen in our house. So she is quite the little artist and she can draw everything for the kitchen. I really wanted to be able to have a plan and then kind of hand it to somebody who can custom build some of the things that we want, but I don't really know how to articulate what I want. So she is helping me by drawing and designing, and she spotted this light on eBay and sent it to me, and I was like sold right away. And actually in the listing photo, I couldn't tell the perspective because he was just holding it, or she, I don't know who was holding it, but it's actually way bigger than I was expecting, which I love because I was wanting to hang it in our kitchen over the dining area that we're gonna have in there. And I was afraid it was gonna look a little bit small, but it is not, it is perfect. Now it needs to be rewired, which my friend Paige assured me is really easy. So I'm gonna be hitting her up for the instructions on that because she told me, nope, still buy it, it's not hard. So it also is gonna need some more chains because I'm gonna want it to hang down a little bit lower. Our ceilings in this house are over 9 feet tall. In the last house, we had to cut all the chains short. Here, they can hang down. Even if this wasn't going in the kitchen, I would have bought this for like 5 different rooms in our house. I absolutely love the milk glass. I love the brass, and it even has some, what do you call that, where it's getting green? I don't know, but I like that. This is exactly what I'm trying to describe to you, the kind of things I want to bring in, completely unique, aged, and just a story, not so polished, not so perfect, that makes sense. But I am so excited about this light. Oh, I forgot to mention prices because you guys always want to know prices. This one was $99 plus $8 shipping, so I ended up paying $107. I did pay a little bit more for some of these than I'm used to. Normally I wait to find antiques until they're the cheapest price, but I really do want to get this ball rolling. And I was thinking in my head, okay, in the last house when I'd buy a new light fixture, I would pay every bit of $100 for each one. Like in the kitchen, I had some little sconces and they were $100 each. And I didn't think anything of it because they were new. But for some reason, when I'm buying something at an antique shop and I have to dig for it, I think it should be free. Well, this is definitely worth $100 to me. If this was a reproduction brand new on Pottery Barn, I'd probably pay $400. So seemed like a good deal. Okay, on that same topic, I grabbed another chandelier. Now this needs to be cleaned a bit. We have some, I kind of scratched at what's on here and it definitely comes off. I just need to clean it up. I need to get a longer chain, might need to be rewired, but okay, so this one I paid $200 for. And I was with my friends yesterday and I was telling my friend that the other one I bought for my bedroom, which is very similar, I paid $60 for, and so I thought this was too much. Well, she assured me that she has been trying to find chandeliers like this when she lived in her old house. Now in her new house it doesn't work, but she was looking at every bit of $300 and more for something with that many crystals and brass and layers. And so she was like, really, $200's a steal. You just got really lucky last time. And so then I did the logic thing in my head again about the amount that I paid for my new light fixtures in my old house. I'm like, you know what? No, I'm gonna pick this up because I think it'd be really good either in the dining room or maybe one of the bedrooms upstairs. I'm thinking the dining room. And again, it has that patina and age, and I think it goes with the style of our house. And really, it's not that expensive for all of that. I also grabbed this bowl. I don't honestly know for sure what I'm gonna do with this, but it is such a pretty bowl. I couldn't pass it up because it was only $9. Thought it would either look pretty in my hutch or on some open shelving in my kitchen. It has like a nice scalloped edge and the detailing here is so pretty. If nothing else, I could use it for photos on the blog. I could put it on a dresser to be like a catch-all. I was looking at it and I was like, you know, I don't really know where that's gonna go, but then I was like, it's $9 and it's really pretty, so couldn't pass it up. The last thing for this particular haul is this wool rug. I have my eye out for vintage wool rugs. I've been looking on eBay, Etsy, buy sell trade, antique shops, and they're very, very difficult to find for a reasonable price. Yesterday at the same shop that I bought this one at, I saw one that would have been perfect for our living room, but it was $800, and I'm just not ready for that just yet. That's still too much. I'm afraid I could find something else for a less price. But this one, very pretty colors. I like that it has some blue in it. I like that the red's not overly maroon and red, it's more orangish. I thought it would be really pretty in the little nursery area where Micah is sleeping under his crib, just at the very front of it, because the floors are all white and I just really wanted to bring in a little bit of color into that room. And I thought this would be the perfect one. They had it for $95, which to me, it is a thick, nice wool rug. Seemed like a really good price. Not a steal, but also not terrible. Few things I passed on yesterday. Like I said, the $800 rug, a armoire. I am still in the market for a really large armoire in the living room. I originally told you all that I wanted to do a fireplace focal wall, but now I'm kind of thinking instead, maybe a really large armoire with a TV. Now in our last house, we actually left the TV that went in the built-ins. We pretty much never used it because we always would lose our remote, and then as soon as I buy another one, the kids would lose it again. And so we pretty much, when we watch a movie or something like that, we'll just watch it on a laptop. But I got to thinking about it and I'm like, you know what? It would actually be really nice in that room to have a TV for movie nights, get some new couches, because like I said, my old couch just does not look right in here. The shape is all wrong, and make that a nice, cozy living room. But I wasn't able to find an armoire yesterday that fit the bill and that was the right price. So I did see one at an antique shop really near where I live, but they wanted $2,500 for it, which, yeah, I'm not ready for that. So definitely gonna keep my eyes peeled. I think we'll be able to find something. And that's, I think, the plan I'm going. I would love to have a mantle, but I really got to thinking about how much cozier that room would be and functional if we had something in there for family movie nights, and just, I want to cozy up that room, but it's not feeling very homey in there. We haven't even used it. Nobody really goes in there. And so that's my next focus, and the armoire is on the list. Another thing is I saw another really beautiful chandelier. It was not like this one or the one in my bedroom. It was a little bit different, smaller. It was very pretty. I really loved it, but it was $260. And I just, again, based on finding these two large ones for $200 and then $60, I think that I could do better than one small one for that price together. So passed on that. It probably will be sitting there a while if I ever change my mind, but I think I'm just gonna keep my eyes peeled and then not do all chandeliers. I wanna incorporate some more antique fixtures like I did with this one off of eBay. Hopefully just over time collect to kind of replace some of the more, currently in this house, the previous owners had some very primitive light fixtures, which when I first looked at the house, I thought they fit. But then as I'm getting my stuff in here and kind of honoring the details of the house, they feel just too simple. I'm going to probably end up replacing most of them as I find some antique fixtures. I really like the milk glass, I like the brass, I like the crystals, so I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled for all of that. And hopefully I'll be a rewiring expert by the end of this. I'm gonna have to probably be. I will keep you updated on the progress. Those are the plans. Hopefully that all made sense to you. I'm hoping soon, probably in the next week or whenever I get drawings back, I wanna share with you the design plans for the kitchen. So my next big thing on the horizon is the kitchen, which is gonna be complete, huge project. I have to basically rip everything out and we have to start again. And then the living room, which the living room won't be hard. The shell of it's already great. It needs a new light fixture, rug, probably new furniture, and the armoire. Those will be things I collect over time. It probably won't happen anytime really soon, even though I really would love it to, but budget's obviously a thing. All right, well, if you're brand new to my channel and you wanna follow along with more of our farmhouse restoration and decorating and making our new farmhouse homestead a home, please hit that subscribe button. I also make videos every week on food from scratch, natural living, and a handmade home. Thank you so much for stopping by our farmhouse.